Welcome to the Dropship Podcast, where you'll learn how to build and grow a high-ticket dropshipping business and hear stories from successful e-commerce entrepreneurs. Let's kick this thing off. Hey, welcome to the Dropship Podcast. Today we're back again with one of our newest coaches. You know her face. In fact, she is the number 4 podcast in our podcast history. She might not know that. She might get embarrassed. Holly, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
What's up, BK? So excited to be here.
You are episode 212. So if you've never heard Holly's story, it's called 0 to 500K in 5 months dropshipping. Came out on September 16th, 2023, episode 212. And yeah, you are the number 4 podcast for us in 2023. You showed up on our Spotify Wrapped of like what we get on the back end of this is your podcast specifically is one of the places that many new listeners come into the show. So welcome back to the pod, and hopefully we can throw out another banger for you.
Let's do it. I'm so excited. I love this stuff.
Well, the point of this little series that we're doing here is to meet the new coaches we brought on. So John and I are continually trying to help as many people as we can. And our best way to do that is focusing as much as we could on some of our early students, which Holly is one of those people, build them up and then bring in more students, have those people help bring up the new students. We can do that through coaching. We can do that through mentorship. We can do that through our Slack channel. We can do that through a lot of places. And Holly is one of the first people that we are bringing on as a coach here at Dropship Breakthru that new members or old members alike can purchase coaching and spend some time with Holly or some of the other guests that we have on the show. Holly, I couldn't pick a better person for this. You embody a lot of what I embody. Like we focus a lot more on what's between your ears than like what you're actually doing in your business. Because most people know what to do, or they can find what to do, or it's definitely in the course. And so usually what's holding you back is between your ears. And so I don't know, I couldn't imagine somebody better to throw into the coaching tree than somebody who I think can honestly help with a lot of that stuff.
I totally agree. Yeah, thanks for saying that. And I think it's between our ears, but also like here in our heart. And I think that's what has made a big impact on me as well, is like I've seen that in you and how you lead with your heart. And like I think that's so important in this too.
Let's not make it about BK, but tell me, what does that mean? Because I think people hear some of these phrases. I know I did. Coming up, I learned a lot about self-development and even marketing. You learn phrases and people repeat these phrases. And often I remember finding myself saying, what does that even mean? And then once I actually learned the lesson, I started using those same words. And so now I think there's other people who are looking at me and looking at you and saying, what does that mean? Lead with your heart. So can you describe what that actually means?
So I am very much in my head all day. And one of my best friends, she like leads with her heart. She's very emotional. She's very connecting. And I'm like, I always wanted to be that way. I've always wanted to just have it come natural where I can just flow and, you know, feel emotions easily, but I'm just so in my head. And while that is really beneficial in the business world, I think when it comes to building relationships and being close to people, not only with like your customers, but your suppliers and your business partners, and I mean, in all areas of your life, but specifically in business, being able to lead with your heart and actually feel and care about other people has been something that has taken a lot of work for me that didn't come naturally. But I had an interesting conversation with someone where they were like, who is Holly? Like, who are you? And my answer immediately like came from my head. I was like, well, I'm this and I'm that, and I do this, and this is who I am. And it's not so easy for me to think about like, who am I like in my heart? Like, what do I care about? What am I passionate about? And that's been coming up a lot for me as I'm getting more invested in my business. And I just think it's so important to like look inward and be able to connect and connect with your heart. I think that has really helped me with my business.
Are you ready to finally take that next step? Finally start your business, make 2024 the year that you take a step forward in your life? Well, I'm going to make it super easy on you. We're running an end of the year sale, and we're doing so for a few reasons. One, the price is going up next year. We are changing our prices. And two, because we are adding a bunch more to the course. So if you sign up now, you will get all of the extra stuff in the course at a price you will never see again. I can promise you that. We are updating the GA4 section, the Google Ads sections, a whole new SEO section, and a whole bunch of new videos from Leighton, from Mindset Coach Valentina, and other people who are going to help us put content into this course. So if you're looking to get an edge on 2024, get access to that new content at a much lower price, and grab this course at a price you'll never see again, make sure you check out our end of year sale, dropshipbreakthru.com/end of year. All one word, dropshipbreakthru.com/end of year. It sounds like you're describing empathy, like understanding how someone else feels. Is that accurate? Am I close?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I just think being able to connect with people, build relationships, like use your emotions, is something that is kind of put lower on the totem pole when it comes to business. But for me, it's like really up there, like really important. And so, yeah, I think empathy is like everything here.
So out of curiosity, because I'm trying to understand this too, exactly where you're coming from. You said I lead with my heart. How did I show that where you felt connected with that?
I mean, I think that's something I've heard you talk about from the start. Like you always are talking about how, this isn't just about making money. This isn't just about having more money in your bank account. It's about going to sleep at night and really being able to feel happy. And like, what better gift than being a human on this earth where we get to feel the full spectrum of emotions, where we get to feel like the pain and the fear of like taking risks and taking big actions, and then get to celebrate these glorious big moments when we get a supplier to approve us, or we make our first sale, or all of those things. Like I love the feeling of like being a human, and like you have shown me that from the beginning, that this is so much more than just making money. Like this is a journey of being on this earth and getting to like do this work together. So, I mean, I guess it's just something I've always seen in you. I've never questioned that with you.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. That helped. It certainly helped me understand it a little better, helped the listener understand a little better. And honestly, give a glimpse into you. Like my goal with this show, John's interviewing a couple other coaches. I'm interviewing you, and like I want to get across who you are and how you think and why that's different. And often people think of coaches in a sense that it's tactical, right? We actually did this at the recent event in Noosa. Elliot did it in Minneapolis of like, all right, everyone take 2 minutes and write down all the shit you should be doing in your business. And then after that, let's all write down all the things our competitors are doing that we know we should be doing. And by the end of that, everyone has this giant list, right? None of that is like something you didn't already know. That's tactical information. If you don't know the tactical information, you should buy a course like Dropship Breakthru. You should watch YouTube videos. You should get a tactical coach who tells you the next steps you should take. Usually you need like, again, help between your ears. You need help with the things that are actually holding you back, or it's some sort of mindset issue. And so I want to get that across, that like I think you can help with some of that stuff in a way that not saying others couldn't. I really, like, you and I have connected on a different level. We've had some pretty interesting conversations, to say the least, while we've been in person. And so like I want to get that across from you. Is it what is it that you would like to get across? As, hey, I'm coming on to help coach at Dropship Breakthru. What is one thing you would want to get across?
So thanks for saying that. And I think one thing I would want to get across is like, I'm still doing this too. I'm still in this work too. By no means am I like where I want to be. There's so much that I'm still learning. I mean, I'm learning things every day. But I think the amount of care that I have for other people, and the amount that I want to see other people succeed, like that is what drives me to be able to do what I do. Like I don't know. It's a lot of fun. I love being able to help other people. I was having a call with someone earlier today, and he was like, I'm at my job, I'm in my office, and like I want to be at home working. I want to be able to have my own business and be at home. And that feeling, like I remember what that feels like. And that is like that feeling in my stomach. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be. And here's what I said to him. I was telling him about the phone call that I made to my boss that day, where I told him I'm putting my 2 weeks in. I was like, I want to be able to help as many people in my life make that phone call. Like that was such an awesome moment. And so being able to like share that with other people is so cool.
Yeah, I wish I could put words to that too, because it's the same thing for me. Like just the feeling of helping people is unbelievable. You were one of the people I've mentioned you on the podcast, not you specifically, but I said this story. It was you. Like you came up and you were like, you changed my life, and like we both had tears in our eyes, and it was a very like touching moment. And you're the first of multiple people who have done that since we've started Dropship Breakthru, and like, man, that's powerful to be able to help people. So I'm glad you said that. Look, you mentioned hopping on a call with you. So you quit your job, you came on and you helped us with some sales calls, right? A nice little transition for you to be able to work on your business more and also fulfill this help that you want to give to people. Right now, we're running the end of the year sale. We are going to raise our prices. There's a whole lot of new stuff coming into the course in 2024. And so you can hop on a call with Holly. There's probably an ad in the middle of the show already. Dropshipbreakthru.com/call. Hop on a call. Talk to Holly. See if this is right for you. And again, you will never see a price like this again. I can promise you that. Every year we try to add more and more and more to the course. And so a whole lot is going in the new year. You probably heard John and I talk about that. And so this is your last chance to get in at a great price. I would book a call, dropshipbreakthru.com/call. Talk to Holly. But I want to talk to you a little bit more here. You said you're still learning, right? And so I asked you to come to this call with 3 things in which you think differently now than you did when you're starting.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll help people who are listening to this, who haven't started yet, think a little bit differently. And so like, I don't care which one of those 3 you want to start with. I thought they were all pretty awesome. And so let's go through the 3 things and kind of break them down.
Okay. So the first thing I think is I made the decision I was going to move forward with high ticket dropshipping last year in November. And it took me, so I would say like what I'm about to talk about is how I spent so much time trying to prepare and plan before I started doing the work. And I think I wasted a lot of time by trying to create short-term goals and long-term goals and like, okay, what's my plan? Where do I need to be before I can quit my job? And what do I need to be 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 5 years from now? I mean, I would like go and create spreadsheets and say like, this is how much money I need to, this is how much net profit I have and how many, this is where I need to be able to quit my job. And this is where I want to be in 3 months. And it was like me making excuses because I was scared to get started. But I mean, I'd convinced myself that those were legitimate things I needed for my analytical mind to feel comfortable and safe to actually move forward. When in reality, I mean, I should have just taken action. So I think I did that until the end of February. So November, December, January, that was 4 months that I just sat and like planned. So, I mean, that's definitely something I wish I could go back and like just start instead of trying to like make all of these plans. Does that make sense?
Do you attribute that to like perfectionism, or what do you attribute that to?
I am a very analytical person that's in my head all the time, and I like to have a plan. That way, if something goes wrong, I'm prepared to handle that. Like that's how my mom and dad always taught me, like always prepare for the worst thing that could happen and for all of the risks that could happen. And yes, like you have to be prepared. You have to think about, you can't just go and, blow all your money and then not have a plan. Like you have to have some sort of plan, but there has to be a balanced risk associated. It can't be, it can't be all risk, but it can't just be, no risk.
You got to find middle ground. But I often reference our twins when they were riding bike. Imagine if they were like, okay, I need to plan this out. If I just get on the bike and I, don't fall over, then I'll feel good about this. And by next week, I'll be able, like some of that stuff you just have to throw out the window and just dive in. And so, look, I just looked it up. You also joined here at the end of last year during the end of year sale. And so
yeah,
here we are 12 months later, right? And you've got a business, you've been able to get out of your job. How much of that can you associate with all the planning that you did and the goals you set? And I'm sure some of that is true, right? If you can visualize where you're going, you're going to end up pulling yourself there. At least that's what I believe. How much of that was that? And how much of that was like you simply just putting your head down and doing the work?
So I agree. I agree that you should have a vision, of where you want to be, but spend like a few hours or like maybe like a day or two on that, not like months. I don't attribute any of my success to like waiting 3 months. There's nothing that like was good about that outside of the fact that like, I just won't do that again next time. I think one of the reasons that I told myself was like, well, I need to be able to, when I talk to suppliers or when I talk to my business partner or whatever, like I need to give them a plan so that I could feel confident and, like they see me as someone who knows what I'm doing. And what I learned after making so many supplier calls is those suppliers don't care when you're going to be live. Like because I was like so afraid that they were going to all need my plan and know my experience level and all of that. And now like what I would tell suppliers after going through that is I would say, hey, our launch date is anticipating to be like April 1st. We're looking for a core group of suppliers that we want to go through our launch phase with. I wanted to have a conversation to see if you guys might be a good fit for that. And then I did not actually go live on that date, but no one said anything. And so I think I was so stuck on needing to have this go live date and have it all planned out. And I end up going live like 2 or 3 weeks before that day, and no one said anything. So it's just so unimportant.
A lot of it is, right? And overthinking is easily done when you have nothing to compare it to in your life. Like there's nothing you can compare it to that is anywhere close to what's actually going to happen. And usually, and I think this is your next point, is like you're underwhelmed with what expectations you did set versus what actually happened. So I know you had some thoughts on supplier relations as your second thing here. Why don't you touch on that? What you kind of mentioned, you went into it with this big plan and they didn't really care about your plan anyway, but too many people I think start with like, this is a boss or this is my, like they use it as an authority figure.
Yes.
And they don't look at it as a human.
Okay. I think I'm like the most passionate about this part. And this is something I feel really confident in. And this is probably from my sales experience that I have. I believe that we should be going into these supplier conversations, not seeing these suppliers as like, oh, these are the suppliers are scary, or they are, they have it all together. They know what they're doing. I think we should be going into these conversations, positioning ourselves as, I need to see if you are going to be good enough for my business. I am spending hundreds of hours backed by my years of experience in serving customers in other areas of my life. And I want to make sure that the suppliers I'm bringing on board are going to be able to serve my customers that in a way that aligns with my values. Not, oh, will you approve me as a vendor? No, I want to make sure you are aligned with my values, and I need to make a decision if you are going to be a good fit for my company. And
but Holly, I have no experience. Holly, I've never done this before. How can I tell them who I am? Why will they let me sell, Holly?
Yes, you do have experience. You do. And guess what? And I'm actually going to talk about the experience piece in a little bit. But here's the thing. We are not in the business of selling products. We're in the business of relationships and caring about people. And if you, in your heart, feel secure enough that you really believe that you care about your customers enough, there is nothing that would stop you from making sure that you have the best and right people on board to help get your customers to the destination you're trying to get them to. So if you have, like, let's say you're trying to take your kids to the doctor, and if you're going to make sure that doctor is going to do everything right for your kids, and if they're not, you're going to find another doctor, right? So it's the same thing here. Like you have these precious customers who want to support your lifestyle and pay, like give you their money, and you want to take care of them in return. And your suppliers are the middlemen who are going to do that. And so the way I talk to people about this is like, look, go into these conversations thinking like, I need to interview you, not you need to interview me. So go into the conversation and be like, hey, hey, John, thanks so much for connecting. I really just want to find out if you might be a good fit for working with my business. Is it okay if I ask you a couple questions? Instead of saying, hey, we're a new vendor and we want to talk about, maybe selling some things for you guys. And there's so much that comes with not only what words you say, but also like how you say it, the confidence that you and the energy that, is being communicated to that supplier. So I think before you make the supplier calls, like go through an exercise of really asking yourself, like, do you really care about your customers that you're going to be selling to, or do you just want to make money from this? Because the money will be the symptom of caring for your customers. And so getting into the mindset and the energy of really caring and knowing why you're doing this, so that when you're talking to suppliers, there is no doubt on their end how much you care.
I think you've done a good job of explaining this, and I want to figure out how to teach this, because what you're describing is powerful, like really powerful. But you can imagine someone who is working a job. Look, I can only relate to my own situation. So I wasn't looking for. You almost framed it as a kid, right? And like, this is your. I don't know how to explain it other than like with emphasis on the voice of like, this is my fucking business. Like, you have to own every bit of it. But you're leaving a place where you've been told what to do. You've been told when to go to break. You've been told you can only take so many bathroom breaks. At least I did at my job. Fucking wild. You had to like go through turnstiles and check out to go to the bathroom. And then you're going to this place where you feel like you still need to ask permission rather than I own this. This is going to be how I want to run things, right? And so it's a hard transition. But I think if you can teach that, like what you just talked about is super powerful. I really hope our shorts guy is paying attention. Elias, pull some of those clips out of there, because that was really powerful stuff of like, you have to understand that you're building something amazing here. And like, these brands need you. They need you to sell their product, not only to sell your product, like they need you to be an ambassador for their brand, and you need them to be an ambassador for your brand. This is a relationship, as you put it. And so this is actually something I've been pondering a lot about. I did not know you were going to go here today, and like I cannot wait for us to like brainstorm on this, to put even greater words to what this means. And I'm not sure I have the right words either. I can think back to, honestly, my ex-father-in-law, and like he owned a small bit. He was this small town dentist. His wife was his assistant, and he was so like protective of his family and his business and what he had built and his legacy. And like, I didn't get it at 23, whatever it was, 25. I did not get it at all. And the way you just described that brought me back to that moment, like hearing him say, not my child, or just something at the dinner, like he was going on about something. I don't even know what it was, but like, it just brings back that feeling of like ownership and pride. And I can understand why that's hard for a beginner, but if anyone listening to this grasps what she just said, or what I'm trying to say as I babble on here, like that, I'm really glad you went there, Holly. I did not know you were going there today. That's my favorite part of this podcast by far.
Yeah, I think if you have kids, you know that energy. If you have pets, if you have a husband or a wife, like you can tap into that energy of feeling like this is like my thing that I am going to go to my grave to protect because I care that much. That should be how you approach your business too. And if that's not how you're feeling about your business, then that's something maybe I would take some time to work on, like to really reflect on. I did tons of meditation. I meditated every day for 30 minutes, like really, and being very disciplined with that. And I would connect with my business. What are my values? What do I care about? Why do I care about them? Why, thinking about my customers going to sleep at night and like, are they happy? And it's not, the reason is so that you can connect to that energy, so that you can feel connected to them and really care about them, so that when you go to your suppliers, to your employees that eventually will work for you, you can represent your customers and your brand. And that's kind of how I like to start my conversations with suppliers, is asking them about what their values are And if those are aligned, because if they don't really care about their customers, I don't want to work with them. I want to work with people who are going to be just as protective over their customers as I am.
Like if you've digested other content on the internet, you're not hearing it like this. You're hearing, here's this hack I did to make more money. Here's this thing I did to grab one more sale or to whatever. It's all hacks. And this is the real. Like building a real business takes you being intentional to understand what you want to bring to the world. It's not just about throwing up a dropshipping store and hoping you make a couple sales to get out of pain. Like if you want to build a real business, you're in the right place, because you're not going to get this information in many other places. And I'm so glad you went there, Holly. We have so much to talk about after this. I can't wait. So you had one more thing on your list. What was the third thing that has shifted for you?
Yeah. So that kind of goes back into knowing who you are. So this is actually a really personal one for me, because when I first started my business, I had a lot of imposter syndrome, of thinking I needed to be a certain person in order for my business to be successful. I am in a very male-dominated industry. I had zero knowledge about any of the products that I'm selling. I'm never done drop shipping before. I mean, when I tell you I knew nothing, and not only that, but like I don't have 25 years of experience and all these other things. I just didn't really have a lot going into this. And so I tried to change who I was to fit into what I thought was needed. And what is really fascinating is the more that I did that, the more that things weren't working, that things weren't lining up for me. And I was unhappy, and it was a moving target where I was constantly having to, I'll give you an example. I didn't want people to know that I was a woman-owned business, because I was so afraid that people would call and see that because I was a woman, oh, she's not going to know anything about this product. So I'm going to call another business and they're going to know more about it because they're a man.
That's a wild thing to think.
Yeah. And so I actually removed from Google, there's this little button on Google that you can say woman owned business. And I removed that. On my little chat, I put a picture of my dad, because I didn't want people to know that, it was me. I wanted people to, it's like, I didn't want people to know who I was. And that really energetically manifested into a lot of areas of my business that it's really fascinating that how it did manifest into a lot of areas of my business. And not only that, but I mean, it obviously wasn't going to work for long, because I didn't realize I was going to need to take customer phone calls. And that quickly changed within probably a month, I would say. But what I learned was the things that are unique about me that a lot of people, and especially me, see as like negative things that I think would actually be reasons that this wouldn't work, are actually my superpower. And that those are the things that are going to make my business unique and make my business special. So does that make sense?
Look, I think that makes sense on a human level. My whole life, I questioned everything. And when you're a kid, and anyone who's listening to this who has kids and they say, why, you get annoyed. I was beyond why. I was like explaining you how that didn't, like, I'm trying to think of a good example. A lot of things in school don't make fucking sense at all. And I was very quick to point out, like, why do we do it this way? That makes zero sense. And, constantly got shut down. You're not normal. Don't think that way. This is not, like, it didn't serve me when I was younger. In fact, it got me in a lot of trouble. Now that's actually made me really good at business, like questioning everything and finding out the real why, and like going deeper. It's part psychology. It's part just, I'm a weirdo. I also I can't tell a lie. I literally can't tell a lie. And so like that didn't serve me super well at certain points in my life. But now like people really appreciate that about me. And so like I think this shows up everywhere for people, that like a lot of things that make you uniquely you may have been told are not great things. When in reality, like that is what makes you you. That is the great thing. And so like it's interesting to see how this showed up for you in your business. Look, can I play the ignorant man real quick? First
Sure.
off, I am the ignorant man. First off, let's just start there. Is that a thing for women to like experience what you experienced, where you're like, this is a male dominated thing, which look, entrepreneurship is, many things are, engineering. There are many things where there's far more men doing it than women doing it. Is that a thing where women feel they shouldn't be there or they can't be there?
I really don't know. I'd actually love to open up that conversation to other women and hear their opinions on that, because I really don't know. I know it was really true for me, and it was really liberating when I went and like added that button back onto Google, when I went and changed that picture to mine on the chat bar, when I started embracing like the things that were me and what made it different. It's like, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm not this like man who's going to get in and like do things the same that other men would, but like, I'm empathetic. I lead with my heart. I have a good attention to detail. I know how to balance priorities. Like, the things that are unique to me are things that I'm now embracing. But yeah, I mean, I hope that that's not how every woman is, but I'd be interested to open that conversation and like hear from more people.
Yeah, I'm certainly not trying to generalize. I just don't know the answer, and I'm fascinated by limiting beliefs, however they show up, for whoever they show up, whatever that is. And so I'm just fascinated how they show up and why they show up. I've got my own unique ones that I'm sure people are like, what? BK thought that? Like if I told you all my BS that I've worked through with Elliot, you'd probably laugh at half of it, right? Just it's not your experience. Whereas if you told me yours, I might laugh at that too. And so I'm just fascinated with limiting beliefs. And so I was curious if that was one that was more common than I knew.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm glad you broke through it. I knew from the first time you got on one of my calls, I could just literally see it in the window. I don't know how to explain it. Sometimes it shows up as a color for me, which is super weird to talk about. You're a badass. Like I knew it immediately. And so I couldn't be more grateful that you've come on the show twice, that you've worked with us to have the number 4 podcast of 2023 on the platform, to come on and take sales calls for us. And at this point, we're now working together in a business on multiple fashions. And so like that is really exciting to me that I get to work even closer with someone who's truly a badass. Like that's one of my favorite parts of doing this is the people that I've met along the way and seeing how special just everyone is in their own way. I think my mom taught me that a long time ago, that everybody has something you can learn from them. And I certainly was not open to that for a long time in my life, but now I'm seeing the people coming here into Dropship Breakthru, you know, you're not alone in this, and that people are coming from all walks of life and really are truly unbelievable humans that want a different life, and to watch people come in their own power. Like you, again, you're like this orangish purple. I don't know how to describe it. And like, you're you. And to watch you like blossom into something even greater is just so fun to watch.
Well, thank you. Thanks for saying that. It was actually like kind of hard to think of 3 things that I wish I knew, because I feel like this program just made it super easy for me to like not have to. I mean, I didn't really have to prepare a lot. I can't take really a lot of the credit for it, because I just did what you guys told me to do. And so it was great.
Well, I appreciate the plug for the course. Look, obviously, John and I have been doing this a long time, right? 19 years combined together at this point, which is crazy to think about. And we've learned a lot of hard lessons. And I hope through Dropship Breakthru that in its current form, which is a lot of overwhelming majority John videos, and what we're adding coming next year with, I'm redoing the entire SEO section. Valentina, our mindset coach, is coming in to do some mindset work. Leighton is coming in to do some really cool Shopify stuff. John's redoing the Google ads, adding Google Analytics 4 capabilities and data studios. And just like, there's a whole lot of really cool things coming to the course in 2024. And, to hear you say it was already there, like that makes us feel good. But at the same time, it's about to get a lot better. So thank you for the course plug.
So excited.
Plug yourself. Seriously. Like this is your opportunity. This is meet the coach, right? And so plug yourself. Why should somebody book a coaching call with you?
Oh man.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I mean, I love this stuff. I mean, I could just talk about this stuff all day. This is fun to me. I love like having like a problem that feels like impossible to solve, and then figuring out a way. And we're just like, I like doing this alone, but it's more fun when I get to like work with someone else on this and like work through a situation. It's just, I am very analytical, but I have a unique gift where I can connect with my heart too, and see the bigger picture of like, okay, yes, this is the problem we're trying to solve, but like, let's take a step out and look like how is this going to look for the customer? How is this like, what's our, like, why are we trying to do this? And make sure that we're, looking at I've been in this for a little bit, like, it's a lot more productive for me to look at like the bigger picture and the longer term plans of things. And I think I really enjoy being able to like connect those two pieces together to be able to solve a lot of problems, because a lot of the problems people bring is they want to spend 30 minutes trying to solve something that like really doesn't matter, or we don't need to spend that long on it. And just having some of those conversations has been interesting to help change the perspective of what does matter, what should our priorities be, and like, what do you really care about? Like, why are we doing this? Does that make sense?
100% makes sense to me. Look, if you want to get on a call, if you're thinking about joining the course and want to talk to Holly before you're ready to take the plunge, dropshipbreakthru.com/call. If you want to hop in, dropshipbreakthru.com/end of year. I'm sure there was an ad in this podcast, or there's something in the show notes. And if you're in the course and want to book a call with Holly, it's inside the course. You can book right in there, or post in Slack if you need to, if you can't figure out where it is. But you can book a call right now, a coaching session with Holly, and I would highly recommend it. If this resonated with you, if what she spoke about is something that touched you in a different way, she's the person to talk to. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You and I, we have, like, again, philosophical and crazy conversations. And I think, some people probably won't resonate with that, and that's fine too, but some people definitely will. And so those are the people I would recommend talking to Holly, let alone she's a beast. She's done a lot of stuff. She is moving very fast in her business, and I'm sure she has a lot to teach you. So Holly, thanks for coming on the show. I have a feeling this will not be the last time that you are on this show, but hopefully this breaks the number 4 ranking. I want to see this be number 1 next year.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This was great. This is fun.
Thanks for listening to the Dropship Podcast. You can find all the show notes for this episode at dropshippodcast.com. And if you're ready to take the next step in your dropshipping journey, we invite you to join us inside Dropship Breakthru, where John and I will walk you through step by step in starting your own high-ticket dropshipping e-commerce business. But that's not all. Dropship Breakthru will also teach you everything you'll need to know to grow your business and take it to the next level. So head over to dropshipbreakthru.com and sign up for our free training that will help you take the first steps towards building and growing your own profitable high-ticket dropshipping business.